At least I am. Let's make sure that this is all running correctly. The usual stuff. Actually, it's the first time I'm streaming on TikTok as well. I mean, I'm not really massive when it comes to TikTok, but can't ignore the fans there. Ooh, already a few comments. Jeez. Yeah, just waiting for Manny, so I'll just answer questions while we wait for Manny. He's just got to put his shoes on, like as Homer says. Um, well, let's see. There's a question here. It's got nothing to do with animation. What does my heritage consist of? Yeah, so the background is Croatian, so you were pretty much right there. I am actually curious where it comes from. I believe like there is a town in Montenegro called Kotor, and as I understand it, the surname is like of Kotor. It's like this walled town. So, I mean, if that's the case, then that would be pretty interesting because it is a rather unique surname. But so that's what I'm thinking it is. But yes, it is from that region, regardless. So let's see. Surely Manny wins this debate. I mean, what kind of person lives in the area? That's metric system, the tool of the devil. Yes, Simpsons, of course. The metric system's a tool. Yeah. Free healthcare, mostly. Yeah, except for those, evil dentists, because that's not free. But still. Let's see. Let the debates begin. Yeah, I guess I'm going to be debating myself. I'm still waiting on Manny. Oh man. So yeah, ask anything. I mean, first of all, uh, I've gotten so many subscribers of late. Like no joke, things have been really rocketing, like crazy, for this channel. Even TikTok, a lot of subscribers, subscriber counts are rising, and Facebook, there's like 141,000 over there, but who's counting? But if I can get to 10,000 subscribers by my birthday in a few weeks, that would be nice. It's just a nice number, and it's one of those psychological things, because I know in YouTube these days the subscriber count actually does not mean as much as it used to, back when YouTube started. So subscriber counts was more like a flex, and obviously YouTube promotes that. But these days it's about views. So you could have less subscribers, but your channel will be way healthier. Your view rates can be a lot better, for example. So if you ever see a channel that has 100 and something thousand, but then you're looking at the videos going, so why each videos have only got like 200, 300 views? Well, there's a good chance that they might have bought the subscribers. I'm not saying that's necessarily the case. Oh, let's bring him on board. Uh-oh. Avert your eyes, children. Oh. We've got a big M here. Where is he? Where's Manny? No? I guess we're going to see that big old M, huh? No? Well, Manny's sorting himself out. What was I saying? Oh, yes, I like stories. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that. There he is. Oh. Ah! Oh, that's much better. Like you started off with this low res camera, and then now it's like a. Ooh, you even dressed up as well. Now I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you at all. Yeah, we're two old guys trying to figure out technology.
Hey there, everyone. This is well, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, yes.
Okay. I was gonna say, Manny, Who is Maddie? My name is Guy Incognito with my little shirt and tie and this little stupid tag that's annoying me right now.
It's the
Wow.
cruise incognito.
Cruise Cognito.
There you go.
Cruise Cognito. No, whatever. We're not playing with semantics today. We're talking about nerd stuff because we're nerds. Hi, everyone. Indeed.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Mom. Going through puberty again.
Like the like that the squeaky voice teen. Like, I don't think he even had a name at all. Just because my God, you're greasy. And
I mean, me back in 7th, 8th grade, yeah, that was pretty accurate.
Mister, like, I forgot the name actually. Help!
Are you gonna sell it to Mr. Pippin Papa, whatever his name, Mr. Patalopicus or whatever? Billy, you're a dull boy.
You're a dull boy, Billy. You're a dull boy. So it's been a few weeks actually since we've done one of these. You know, obviously life gets in the way. You know, boo life. You know,
boo life, overrated.
Yeah, definitely. I'm here nibbling Nobby's nuts again.
This live stream brought to you by Nobby or Nubby?
Nobby, Nobby, Nobby.
Nobby. I gotta say it right. Nobby.
Nibble Nobby's nuts.
Nobby's nuts.
And Powerade. No sugar.
And what am I sponsored by?
It's just beer.
Beer. Sponsored by Zevia. Healthy soda. Grape flavored.
Ooh, no, actually it's purple because purple is a fruit.
Purple drank. I'm thinking of Chappelle's show now. Surely Manny wins this debate. I mean, what kind of person lives in an area with that tool of the devil? The metric system is used or lives in a nation with free healthcare. Yeah, I mean, who would want to have free healthcare? Give me the imperial system, the heck with the metric, and the heck with free healthcare. Oh,
we need to build We need to build a monorail. Damn it, you know.
Monorail.
Oh, yeah, monorail. It'll be just 2 hours of us just going monorail, which I'm sure.
Yes, I actually, Camden, you can't see it, but I actually do have an onion tied around my belt, which was the style at the time, and I'm bringing it back.
Wow, like, you know, wow, Manny off so concert tonight. Well, I think you came back for one, didn't you?
Yeah, if you count singing a mass as a concert, then yes, I just came. I sang a mass at 6 p.m. and it finished around 7 p.m. and it's currently 8 p.m. And the place where I sing at the church is it's about 40 minutes away from where I live. So I was zooming over here. You know,
Ooh.
Since I'm a Zoomer. No, I'm not. I'm a millennial.
You look like a Zoomer, you know. But now you're going to be singing at the Church of Animation.
Indeed. I go from, you know, Hallelujah to I'm a big nerd, or I don't know. That sucked.
I'm a big shot now, or something like.
I'm a big kid. Did you guys have that? Now I go, I'm a big kid. Now the Pampers commercials from back in the day.
No, but the jingle sounds familiar, so maybe they use that jingle for something else. You know,
buy some Nobby's nuts like that.
No, no, but those commercials. I mean, I shared one with you, but those commercials are essentially just these paintings on a pub, and yeah, people they were just interacting. You know, let's just nibble Nobby's nuts. Just saying, they just say that so just like it's a normal thing for anyone to say. But sure, why not? Why not? But I actually came back from a convention a few days ago. Yeah, so I did the one day, I had a day off. And first of all, from now on, I'm getting a priority pass. I know it costs extra, but man, I can't stand in lines anymore. You know,
it is worth shelling out the $1 dues.
Yes, now it is. I remember when conventions first came to Australia, they were fairly smallish. I mean, the autographs were only like $30-$40.
I remember those days.
Yeah, and lines weren't crazy. I think a lot of people didn't really know about it, but unfortunately, it is a victim of its success. I mean, hey, I'm glad that people are discovering this, but you know, I think this might actually put people off. Like they might go there and go, "Oh, is this how it always been?" No. See, this convention was probably average for me, and I'll explain why. So I met Michael Jai White, so Spawn. So he He actually did the voice of Doomsday in the Justice League cartoon. I actually got a few autographs in here.
He was in, I don't know if you know this, but he was in The Secret of the Ooze. He was a background character in that film.
Yeah. So see all these autographs, which I know it's flipped at the moment, but he signed it here because he played Doomsday. That in the comics, Doomsday is the being that actually killed Superman. And
I remember that when the
Lauren
comic
Tom,
came out.
Lauren
Nice.
Tom, I don't think I got signed in the end, but I actually got the other book signed by the late great Kevin Conroy, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Kevin. He was great.
And Lord Havoc, and I thought he'd get Spawn signed. I mean, Michael J. White would have gotten signed. He would have signed. He signed there. That the artist signed there back in 2011, actually, way back. So that's how long I've been going to conventions for. When they used to be much better. But man, I'm sorry, but he was disappointing. And this is the problem I have with conventions too. Now, you've got the celebrities who genuinely are grateful for their fans. They'll engage with their fans, and then you've even got the ones who they might be shyer, maybe more of an introvert in real life, and that, but they're still at least somewhat engaging. Like I met, the actor, so him, Garrett Hundred,
that guy.
Yeah, he's also in Tulsa King, amazing show. I love that. And funnily enough, I actually of course, Taylor Sheridan and Sylvester Stallone, of course, I was going to always give it a go. But then when I saw he was in the cast, I thought, oh, cool, I was excited, and he was happy, he was at least grateful, like, he shook his hand, but you could tell he wasn't maybe the bubbliest of characters, and that's okay. But Michael J. White was no engagement, just very cold. I'll sign this, do the selfie, see you later kind of thing. Very cold. I was not happy to the point where I'm actually tempted to delete the selfie. That's how annoyed I was. It was so cold. Like, it's like, dude, it's quite clear you're just doing this only for the money.
Yeah.
Which I know is a business, but hey, is what it is. But I don't want to go on a massive rant, it was a disappointment.
It's interesting because as someone who is an introvert, like, I understand the dynamic of having people there. And I mean, obviously you have those instances where, like the very interesting characters of the fandom come out of the woodwork. But I mean, and I rarely, because I go to New York Comic Con almost every year, and I went to San Diego Comic Con 2 years ago. And I really just go to that one, to New York every year. I call it like my religious pilgrimage.
Your Mecca.
My Mecca indeed. And I've taken photos with a few celebrities. Like obviously my love of Ghostbusters. I met Ernie Hudson, and Ernie Hudson could not have been any nicer.
He was there, and I wish I met him instead. Honestly, I regret putting my money towards Michael J. White. I should have met Ernie Hudson.
Super, super nice guy, very appreciative of the fandom, and and I say as an adult, like my favorite Ghostbuster growing up was Egon Harold Ramis, but as I gotten older, I've really come to appreciate Winston and Ernie Hudson and just how he is as a person. I met a few wrestlers, like I met Diamond Dallas Page, Sting, my favorite wrestler of all time, and I made him laugh and smile, which is great. Voice acting, I met Billy West years ago, and he could not have been any nicer. He was, and we were talking about music, and it's just he was phenomenal. Bill from Tune In With Me on MeTV, another phenomenally nice guy, and Kevin as well, Toonie himself, and both of them were very nice. There was a guy in front of me that was like, "All right, dude, read the room," and he was dressed up as a Ghostbuster, and like you could see like Bill and like Kevin looking at me like we're trying to talk to you, but this guy's just chewing up the scenery and everything. A few other, I met like Sergeant Slaughter. I have a picture of him putting me in the Cobra Clutch. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually don't go out of my way to meet celebrities. I know you told me that the cast of one of my personal favorite shows, Avatar: The Last Airbender, was there. I've seen them, but I haven't gotten around to doing the photos. The one time, and of course I met, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. I had to pay respects to my heroes. The one negative experience of not meeting him per se, but like, just walking by him. It was my first New York Comic Con, which was back in 2008. Yes, when I had hair, waiting for a joke from Camden. And Seth Green went to the same booth that I did because that was the first year that NECA had the license to the Ninja Turtle figures, and they made like how they looked in the original first issue of the Mirage comic. So I bought the set, and Seth Green was around the same area. He bought the set as well. And coincidentally, a few years later, he went on to do the voice of Leonardo in the 2012 series. But walked by me, and I just said, "Hey, Seth, how are you? Nice to meet you." And just like he was an a-hole. He just gave me, like, I wasn't being weird or intrusive. Where I was like, "Hey, how are you?" And just, I'm busy. I'm like, dude, I'm just saying hi, because I've seen celebrities here and there, like in whenever I visit New York or whatever. I get it; they're humans too. Like if you go up to them and speak to them, because I'm the same way. Like, don't talk to me like, it's the energy that you put off. Or there was another time was it New York or San Diego? It might have been New York, but Andre the Black Nerd, who I've always been a fan of his stuff, saw him he walked by me. I said hey to him, spoke to him for a few minutes. Genuinely a very nice guy as well. And I even took a picture with him and said, "Hey, you mind?" I said, "Yeah, dude, that's fine." And, super nice guy. Like I said, I've seen a few of them walking the floor, and I just say, hey, or the majority of the time, I don't say anything, because I'm like, if you're not in your booth per se, then I'm not going to bother you. And yeah, you could tell too. It's like, some of the people I've seen online, or I see them when I walk by, it's just like they're having a
There he
blast
is.
talking to fans. Oh, Jack DeSena, the voice of Sokka. Very nice.
Yes, because and here's the funny thing, and I'm trying to. Actually got you something, and I'm trying to do it,
Oh boy.
and it's not.
Oh, no, you shouldn't have.
No, I got you something, but I'm trying to make it work. But the problem is, every time I try and upload something, it
It's it's just gonna be Jack DeSena staring at me and on the screen.
no, like every time I'm trying to upload something, I don't know if it's my browser or not. And I don't want to end the stream or anything, obviously.
That's all, folks. Have a good night or a good day in your case.
So what I'm going to do, I want to see if it works for you. I'm going to actually forward it to you via your iCloud and see if that works.
Ooh.
I will share it to your iCloud, and you should be able to upload it from your end. Unfortunately, that means I can't actually even put some of the pictures I wanted to show today, and yeah, it sucks. But anyway, let's have a look. So messages, but yeah, my kids met Bryce Pepperbrook, I think.
Peppermint patty?
No.
Peppercorn? Pepperoni.
No. But he was so nice to him. But his line was insane. Like, it was just nuts. Let's have a look here, man.
Oh, before I forget to mention, so I took a photo in about 3 years ago with the cast of the 1987 Ninja Turtle series. I didn't get the chance to meet Rob Paulson because I know everybody wants to meet Rob Paulson, but he stood next to me in the photo, and he put off that vibe of just like he's a super nice guy.
Very nice guy.
But I did get to meet at a smaller con in New Jersey a few years ago, Townsend Coleman, who does the voice of Michelangelo. And Michelangelo is my favorite turtle. Like he's pretty much the reason why I became a fan in the first place. Super nice, super kind, and
because of the pizza, right?
Because of the pizza, yeah, and then my years of weight gain. But but he unprovoked, and I wish my recorder or my friend Luciano, he was with me. I wish we recorded. He started speaking in Michelangelo's voice, and he was like, "Hey, it's my dude Manny over here. We're gonna get some pizza." And I didn't feel like this, but Luciano was like, "Manny, you look like you were about to cry." I was like, "No, I wasn't gonna cry." Kleenex on my eyes right there. But it's just like I always feel so surreal whenever you see a voice actor do what they do. And like literally hearing the voice of some of my earliest memories, like say my name. And it's just it was like it's such a surreal moment. I wish I didn't know he was gonna do it. I wish I recorded it because it was awesome. And it's just a super, super nice guy.
Ooh,
Like I follow him on social media.
I think it's working now. I
Oop.
because
Oh, I
sent
got
to
it.
you. You got it, but still, I want to try and play it from here if I can because it's right here. But yeah, so the kids had a great time, even though they got extremely tired towards the end. And I met two comic creators. I mean, first of all, I don't know if you know Adi Granov. So if you've seen Iron Man, he's the guy that basically designed the Iron Man suit that was used by Danny Jr. and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, I got this remark of Darth Vader because he did this cover, so it looks pretty good.
That's really cool.
Originally, there was the other artist, Humberto Ramos. So I'm going to sign there because I already got the
I see you're practicing your Spanish.
Ramos.
Humberto Ramos.
Ramos.
Very nice. I sang in Spanish before. Well, both English and Spanish. So.
Wow. Let me see if I can do this a little bit better. Just all over the place. Like, I actually forgot the image I put for your iMessage was Homer running out naked. I did that years ago.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to see if I can download this one. Let's have a look. Let's open that.
While you're doing that, I'm going to read. Let's see. Would you guys have wanted to meet any of the original Muppet performers? Frank Oz, Dave Goles. I think I said it right. Steve Whitmire, the late Richard Hunt, or the late Jerry Nelson. I mean, I'm not the biggest Muppet fan in the world, but I mean, I respect the hell out of, the work that Jim Henson, may he rest in peace as well, and all the other puppeteers over the years. I mean, Frank Oz, Gonzo, Yoda. Oh, no, he wasn't Gonzo. He was Fozzie. Dave Goles was Gonzo. Whitmire, he took over for Kermit after Henson died. I mean, in the case of Jim Henson, he passed away when I was 2 years old. So unfortunately, I grew up watching, reruns of the Muppets and obviously Muppet Babies. And of course, the first two Ninja Turtles films were the suits were made by the Jim Henson Company. But no, I mean, there's a ton of famous. I mean, I mentioned earlier today to somebody, Mel Blanc, of course. Everybody would have loved to meet Mel Blanc. He died when I was a year old.
Here we go.
Oh my God, no! I heard a tiny bit. Go ahead.
I won't mute. I won't have it too loud. You ready? Okay, here you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's up, Manny Cruz? Sokka here, Southern Water Tribe, the meat and sarcasm guy. Just a guy with a boomerang reaching out on behalf of Anthony to say hey and to say thanks for all the help. I hope you're doing well, and let's toast you, Manny. You helped out so much with the YouTube channel. Let's raise a toast to Manny and all drink a glass of our finest cactus juice. It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest.
Quenchiest.
Wish you all the best, Manny. What a try.
And of course, I guess I don't know if you knew that or not, but like the element that I associate with the most in the universe is water. So, chef's kiss. Thank you. That was like a great
little present for you.
Gift.
Little present for you. Yeah, it thought it was interesting. It's like, getting into this. I said, look, the thing is, I actually would have loved to have gotten the Avatar signatures, but the thing is, again, as I pointed to before, it's expensive. It's very, very expensive, all this stuff. And like their prices were actually reasonable, mind you. Like, but it's just, I don't know, man. I have to sort of pare things down and that, but I thought I'd get that for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Out of all he was actually the only one doing the video and that, but again, it's the choice of what they want to do. Some of them do just do plain autographs. Some of them you can add quotes and. But they've even got this thing now where you got to pay extra if you want a premium item signed now. Have you seen that?
I think so. I mean, premium would be like what, like a Funko Pop or
Funko Pops and that. Whereas what my kids got signed was just their personal Blu-ray of the Demon Slayer and also Persona 5 video game. My daughter loves that game, so one of the actors was there and he signed it for her. So stuff like that is normal price, but premium stuff you got to pay extra for, which whatever.
Because I saw a picture a few days, actually, was it today or yesterday, of a con, but it was in Brisbane. That the Avatar cast. You didn't go to, because I was like, wait, how far is Brisbane from where you live? And then I checked.
Actually, Gold Coast.
That's far.
Gold Coast, actually. That's like 100 kilometers, which I know that means nothing to you. South of Brisbane. Or Brisbane, as I used to call it. Brisbane.
Brisbane, or Melbourne.
The thing is, like Supernova, the convention, they do a thing where they do two cities at once. And part of that would be to it costs a lot of money to bring people from the States.
From the States, yeah.
So it makes sense to have the two conventions, so that way it's like one big, international flight, then one small domestic flight, and then one international flight back home. It's more cost effective that way. So they were first there, then they flew down to Melbourne, as you guys. It's Melbourne. It's Chowder.
Chowder.
It's Chowder. So Camden says, didn't I meet Will Eisner? No. The only time he came to Australia was in 1988. Stan Lee was supposed to go, but he wasn't able to.
That was the year I was born.
So yeah, I was 3 years old. So what a shame. But yeah, I collect the spirit. But the funny thing is, though, I actually one person sold an original Will Eisner spirit sketch that he did at that convention. So I own that. And also there was this 4 photo thing where it had Stan Lee, Will Eisner, and 2 others, and the 3 were signed, but not Stan Lee because he didn't show up. So when I got to finally meet Stan Lee, I actually got him to sign that. So I have the complete thing, which is pretty awesome.
I have to shout out this comment. It's a giant mushroom. Maybe it's friendly. Of course, one of Sokka's quotes. That's Brazilian drums. It's my buddy Luciano. Thanks for coming on to the live stream, and hopefully you got to see me geek out over hearing Sokka say my name.
There you go. So I sent it to you. So it's in 4K as well, so you can see all the detail.
Crikey.
Crikey. So yeah, I thought I'd give you that gift. But
thank you.
With Ramos, see, here's the thing. I mean, this is nothing against Ramos himself. He seems like actually a decent guy. I missed out on getting a sketch, which it is what it is. The problem was he had a handler there. And that's fine. I thought it was a case of, so what are you after? Yep, some autographs. Yep, here's the money. And also I got this Spidey poster as well, signed by him as well. So,
nice.
So it's like, okay, I missed out on the drawing. I'll just get this print. That's fine. I'm not one of those people where it's like, can you please squeeze me in, please? No, man. Like, come on. You can only draw so fast, right? But anyway, he gets the money and he passes the books on to Humberto. He signs them, passes it back to me, and it's like, dude, I came here to meet the guy. I came here to ask him questions as well. Like, he's like, oh, next. It's like, what? It's like, what the? If I just want the autograph, I'll just go through CGC or something and just get it that way, without if I didn't want that personal contact. So
are you Humberto? Yes. You? Yes. Really? Yes. Can I thank you? Come again.
Yeah. So, are you really Humberto Ramos? Yes. Really? You? So that was very disappointing. It's like I want to meet the guy again. All right, so I missed out on a drawing. Whoopee.
The worst drawing ever.
And yeah, so that's the photo with Garrett Hedlund. That from you might have seen him.
Refresh my mind.
Tron what Legacy, Tulsa King, and also he's currently in that show.
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
No. If it's not Avatar, you don't care, right?
No, pretty much.
But yeah, but otherwise, I still had fun. But I think as soon as the convention is open, bang, I'm as in announced, I'm just going to get the it's $200, which it's like this. If you go across 2 days on a normal pass, you can sort of see the different. You got time to see a lot of the creators, but you just got to wait a lot. I don't want to wait a lot, But anyway, that's not back to mentions.
I guess last thing, you're more of like an artist alley kind of guy, right? Because I like walking the convention floor where they sell all the stuff. When it comes to the artist alley, I really don't go to that much because, you got the comic book people. I don't collect a ton of comic books, and a lot of them. No, I don't really. Mainly when I go to Artist Alley, it's like when you asked me to get you something, and I've had some. I think it was when I tried to get something for you, and there was one artist that his handler was a real a-hole, and I was not happy about
Adam Kubert's handler.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, Adam himself is a lovely guy for real. He I got a signed print through CGC that he was doing that of his Wolverine for Wolverine 300. And he signed that. But also there was like a receipt thing, like an invoice thing. I thought that was fine. He also signed that, and he said thanks. like he actually just an additional. This is his artist signature, by the way, not his.
Yeah. Here's a cocktail napkin. Here's a gum wrapper. Can you sign this?
So I have no issues with Adam, and I'd love to meet him one day. He's one of my favorite artists. But so we'll jump on the topic of today's discussion. It's like everyone's saying, when are we going to get to the fireworks factory? The usual stuff. So growing up,
which we never did.
First? No. We're both like Peter Pan,
Yeah, so you can tell
which Disney, if you're watching, please restore it. Like you've just done with Alice in Wonderland. We want to see
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, we want, because I actually do like Peter Pan. Yes, some elements are dated, I get it, but it's still one I grew up with, and I have a lot of fun memories for. In fact, when I went to Tokyo Disney Sea, they have these new rides. Everyone's was going for this other ride. I think it was to do with Frozen or whatever. No, I wanted Peter Pan. Like, that was me. So, bad time.
Spider is Prime. Great name.
Yes. Yes. So, let's set the stage. First of all, how do I say it? Stage. Set the stage.
Stage. Set the stage.
Set the stage.
Set the stage.
Is it anyway? So, first of all, the TV stations are very different from Australia and the US. I already know with the US, it's got CB. What is it? ABC and CBS.
Well, the big three for many years. Yeah, CBS, ABC, and NBC. So the National Broadcasting Corporation, the American Broadcasting Corporation, and CBS, I think, was like Columbia Broadcasting System, something like that. And the big three existed since the 40s? Yeah, I think since the 1940s. For me, because I think the flagship stations for all three were, since I was born and raised in New Jersey, so New York City is just very close to us. So the flagship stations were located somewhere in Manhattan. I've walked by them before, like the CBS building and NBC and ABC. And then, you had the big three, and then you had smaller local stations, so on and so forth. And then 1986 came along, and that's when the fourth major network, Fox, came along. And obviously today, how appropriate today is Simpsons Day. The first episode of The Simpsons as a short on the Tracy Ullman short premiered April 19th, 1987.
There we go, featuring Captain Wacky.
Yes, they were also radio stations. Thank you, Camden. But I'm talking about TV wise. and ABC was a radio station as well. Like, I listened to like old radio checks from the 70s. And so on and so forth. But TV wise, you had the big networks, and then in the 80s, with cable coming along, Nickelodeon started in 1979, Cartoon Network started in 1992. Because for me growing up, I guess one of the few luxuries we had was, fortunately, my dad liked cable, so I had that. So I had, for my cartoon habits, it was mainly Nickelodeon, and like I said, I'm a child of the 90s. I don't look it, but I'm a little younger than Anthony. And and I saw mainly like the original Nicktoons and other shows that were Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. Obviously, most of my Looney Tune exposure comes from Looney Tunes on Nickelodeon. And then for the major networks, ABC, I was seeing other things like they used to have one Saturday morning shows like Recess, not the Disney Doug sucked. The Nickelodeon Doug's better. And also ABC was where the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show was on. And for me, my because I don't know how it is in Australia, like different parts of the United States, like my CBS affiliate, the flagship, is WCBS New York, which is channel 2. NBC is channel 4, ABC channel 7, and Fox is channel 5. But like if you go to like Philadelphia, Fox 29, or California, Fox 55, or
like
ABC
regional affiliates,
12.
yeah,
the affiliates, like it's not the same number. So like if I say channel 2, somebody in this area is like, oh, CBS, channel 7 is ABC. But if I go to another part of the states, it's like, oh, that's channel 45 is NBC or whatever. So, but yeah, ABC 7 was the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show for me.
I will show you this little infographic. Don't worry, it's tasteful.
Oh boy.
No. It's tasteful. So there you go. So, all right. So this you'll see here. So it's a nice little graphic for you. All right. So let's go through this little mini Australian TV history for those who aren't aware, so that they understand it all. Okay. And there is one missing, and I'll explain what it is in a second. So that squiggly looking one, that's ABC. Okay, that's not your ABC. This is our ABC, Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Okay, so which makes sense why it's called ABC, you know. But that's the government station in that they provide local productions, of course the news and that, and they provide also vital service for regional Australia as well, especially with radio.
So is that like, so your ABC is like PBS here in the States, right?
Yes, there you go.
Okay.
That's probably good.
That's
public
broadcasting system.
Yeah. Okay. So the one that's certain, we won't go too deep into it. And then sadly, this is one that's a certain demographic would rather have shut down. I'll say no more. You guys can fill in the gaps. Similar situation here, but that's what they are. SBS is a similar thing. So SBS, they actually promote a more of a world view. So they have news from all over the world, certain shows from all over the world, and it's actually the channel where I discovered South Park. So now, so basically there was, here's another bit of Australia history for you. Unfortunately, there was what was called the White Australia policy. So people from certain other nations, they would purposely make the immigration thing super hard, where they almost couldn't get in, right? Because it was ridiculous. But then multiculturalism was passed as a thing that we were going to do from the 70s onwards. So the SBS was kind of like a product of that. So they're the two government stations. Okay, one is about local stuff like PBS, that kind of thing, and the other one is SBS. In fact, ABC has, if you can look up in your own time, it's a show called Play School. That has been going on for well over 50 years. That's like a pre-toddler type show.
Sesame Street-ish, kind of like that.
Okay. Exactly, and it's pretty important to us. So, but as you said, you had the big three, right? Well, we had for a while it was the big two, and yes, as CAG 3891 pointed out, the Channel 10 is that logo is a bit outdated, but it's still the same thing. So it was Channel 9 and 7 for a while. But then Channel 10 came along, I guess, kind of like how Fox did at one point. They were kind of latecomer Fox, then The Simpsons came along with that, right? Yeah. So similar kind of thing, which funnily enough, Channel 10 was the station for Simpsons. No joke. Like 6 o'clock every night on the weekdays, a Simpsons episode. That would be the reruns all the time, and then once a week when the new seasons came out, it was like 8 p.m. I think, or something like that, every Sunday or whatever it was. So yes, they were edited as well. You know that great making bacon on the beach gag. They cut that out. So pretty much as soon as the opening couch gag was done, we cut straight to Homer opening the door to the neighbor who ends up selling the house, and and all that.
Losing that amazing joke in the process.
Yeah, although we still kept that amazing joke. But Marge, you never know when I need much estrogen. all those expired drugs he just finds on the street. But Channel 7, Channel 9, think of them as like, I guess NBC, CBS, whatever. Those kind of stations. They got the news. They play movies and all kinds of stuff. And my hot take is I don't think free-to-air stations really should kind of exist anymore, like in the way they are. That's just pointless to me now. But anyway, I could go on and on and on about how I feel about that. But anyway, those are the stations. The one that's missing from there is the community station. I think the closest equivalent to that would be like UHF.
Okay.
So like it's called Channel 31, and they would have like the real community stuff. Stuff for Aboriginals. Like there'll be shows that they would produce will be on there. But with this graphic though, each station now has their own other stations as well. So there's 7, there's 7-2. There is a channel called 7 Mate. I kid you not. And they have a lot of. I'm
Yes.
not kidding. I'm not kidding. And then 7 something else. But now there's actually a lot more stations. So each station has now their own little substations. And similar to what you said, there are regional areas as well that actually have their own versions. So like a regional version of a station. So like Mildura, you may not be aware of where it is in Victoria. So the southern state where I am. So I'm in Melbourne in the southern part. In the northwest, so getting towards the deserty kind of area, but still in Victoria, is Mildura, a wonderful town. They have their own regional station because it's so far away. For me to drive there, it will take me about 5 hours.
Okay.
And of course, 20 hours if I was to go on that little bike that Tobias it was
Tobias.
riding out to Mildura, like instead of the car. So, I'll just remove this graphic. But yeah, so that gives you a bit of.
I was going to try to pull up the graphic of the logos of the big 3. I was trying to figure it out because I see like the plus sign. It says local video, screen share, presentations. Could I do it, or am I not allowed?
Yeah. Click plus.
Okay, plus I did that.
See, guys, we're both old. Okay, we're getting into this streaming thing. Honestly, all this stuff is streaming is like trial and error for us. Believe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with tech, but I really don't stream.
Yeah, so you click plus and you click image if you want to share image, video, obviously. I mean, local video would be something stored. The other video would be for, I don't know, reacting to YouTube or something.
No, they have presentation, screen share, extra camera, and local video only. I don't have an image one. Interesting.
Let
me see if I hit upload video. I mean, sure, yes. I mean, it's not a video. It's literally a picture. No,
unless you find that picture and just drag it in, sort of, like how you can upload images straight onto a web browser. See if that
let's see.
So drag it in and see if it gives you an upload image.
Do you see it? Oh wait, no, is that it? Oh no, that was my browser. It popped into my browser. Let me see. Let me try that again. Is there anything I could do? No, it's not letting me do it. I'm not gonna waste time.
I'll click settings. I will click settings. Guest control presentation, video recording. That is very, very bizarre, but that's okay.
I have video, extra camera, screen share, and presentation. But don't. And I check presentation.
I mean, screen share could work, but we'd want to. Who knows what stuff you've got on your
horrors
screen.
I have no, but. I mean, you can look it up if you put big 3 networks: ABC, CBS, NBC. Another one that I didn't mention. I mean, this was going back. I mean, before we were born, whatever. Yeah, Dumont was another station I know that like tried to compete with the other ones, but that faded out. And then, of course, in the '90s, there was the WB,
the WB,
the WB. And it's interesting. Like I look into the history of this is me 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I can go to Wikipedia. But the WB launched.
I'm at work at that time.
95 or 96 was when it launched, because the WB, Warner Brothers owned it, whatever. Michigan J Frog was the mascot. It was. I think I asked you this before. Do you guys have call signs for radio and TV stations? Okay.
At least not modern day. It might have been back in the day for radios. Because keep in mind, all of our sensibilities in regards to media came originally from what the UK were doing.
Okay.
And we were so far behind, we didn't even have any color film processing stuff in Australia till I think the 60s. In fact, when the Olympics were filmed here, the Melbourne Olympics in 1956, they actually had to send the footage back to the UK to process. That's how far back it was. It was, not great.
Well, the what was it? Our Channel 11 here in New York is WPIX, and Pix 11 has been around for years. It was an independent station for many years, and then it became the WB affiliate. So, WPIX, the WB11. And on that channel, that's where I saw, that's where Pokemon came out. That's when they had the kids WB with like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and reruns of that. Pokemon eventually came out in late 98, 99. and then other things like Justice League and Superman and reruns of Batman the animated series. But the WB ceased to exist or became the CW. But now PIX WPIX is now an independent station. Is it, or is it a CW? I don't know, but I guess it went back to its original, New York affiliate, because on Facebook they have like clips of like WPIX broadcasts from like the 80s and the 70s and stuff like that. I mean, the earliest I remember Pix was, when it was a WB affiliate. And it's so weird. Like, I guess at a little tangent, but when they would have a program change, it creeped me out as a kid. I don't know why, but if you look up on, so I was watching Samurai Pizza Cats. It was in syndication, and it was syndicated on WB11 in New York. And I wanted to watch it one day, and it's just like it was a still image of one of the characters. I think it was Speedy, the main character, and then the narrator was like, or the announcer was like, "Samurai Pizza Cats will no longer be shown at this time. Stay tuned for whatever daytime talk show nonsense." And I went on YouTube and I found a similar like program change. It was, and I don't know, like it creeped me out. I guess because the fact it's a still image, there's no music, and it's the narrator who, he has a great voice, but he's like, "Full House will no longer be shown at this time. Stay tuned for Buzz." And it was like I didn't even know what Buzz. It was like some goofy dating show from the 90s. And it's funny. I typed in a comment. I was like, "These station change announcements used to creep me out as a kid." Oh no, somebody wrote that, and then I replied, I was like, "I wasn't the only one." And then somebody else was like, "Word, me too."
There you go. See, you're not alone. You can be like Millhouse. It's like, "You're afraid of this. You're afraid of this. So was I." That kind of thing.
So this is what it feels like when doves cry.
But in terms of growing up, how we watch things. I mean, you said you were watching Nickelodeon. Another bit of Australian history is cable TV, or in this case, start off satellite TV and then cable. It's long with the history. I'll try and condense it for you. We didn't get any of that stuff, at least where I lived, until the mid-90s, so 1995, 95, 96, something like that. But in the mid-90s. It might have been available slightly earlier in certain other parts of the different capital cities, but where I was, and I was sort of in the outskirts of Melbourne at that time, we didn't get it till later. I remember getting a satellite dish, and it was the most amazing thing ever. And then eventually they laid out all those, all the cable that was for the cable TV, and we sort of upgraded and had all the channels. And yeah, Nickelodeon was on there. So I watched a lot of the, Ren and Stimpy, like a lot of the really cool cartoons. Are Real Monsters, Doug. I love Doug. Rugrats. I still maintain Rugrats is amazing. Like for its time.
The first 4 seasons of Rugrats, I really, really still enjoy to this day. It was when it switched, like, because the first 4 seasons, and I, from what I remember reading, there was like, back and forth between Klasky Chupo and Paul Germain in terms of like the story and the writing department, and they had different ideas. And then Germain left the show. Like the episode that I think made the transition from the first 4 seasons to later on was the Hanukkah episode. And I'm not Jewish, but I loved that episode, and I learned about Hanukkah, and I also learned about Passover from Rugrats. So it was like, it was very beneficial to like just like my education of other cultures and other religions. And yeah, I still like watching that Hanukkah episode. I think it came out in 96, because the first 4 seasons were 91 to 94, and then it took a little bit of a hiatus, and it came back. And I love that Hanukkah episode. But then after that, like, I never saw the movies. I had the toys.
The movie was all right. The movie's actually not that bad.
Never cared for Dill, and then you got Kimmy and all that. Chucky was my favorite character, because Chucky was me. I was a scaredy cat as a kid.
And going back to The Simpsons, it was when the original actress, she decided to just go out of the industry entirely. It was actually done by Nancy Cartwright later on.
Yeah, Christine Cavanaugh.
Yeah.
And she was also the original voice of Dexter.
And she also voiced Babe, though, in those.
Yeah, Babe. Yeah, I remember that. I think I had that on VHS.
It's actually on 4K now. So it's actually, it's not bad, not bad movies. But the thing is, I was watching a lot of that stuff, and yeah, even Passover thing, the episode, I learned about it from that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I grew up, there was actually I knew nobody was Jewish where I grew up, like nobody. The only, and when I would hear passing references like, "What's a Jew?" Like I didn't know because I didn't grow up around any. Like there was nothing about it, and not even on TV or whatever. But since then, obviously, through shows like that, I learned about all that stuff. So, go figure. And at one point, I didn't even know what a Muslim was until we had a Muslim neighbor. So, stuff like that. It just happened.
Representation matters. That's all. Or like one, probably. I mean, like Chucky was my favorite character. I would say Chucky, and right after that, Susie. Cree Summers did a great job. I mean, Cree Summers done tons of voices in animation. She was on Elmira and Tiny Toon Adventures. She was Susie. She was the voice of Penny in Inspector Gadget back in the 80s, which was on Nickelodeon. And actually, I got to bring up that point in a second. But I where I grew up, it's a mostly Hispanic town. A lot of Spanish speakers, people from immigrant families. But I also grew up with a sizable Black population, and seeing a positive Black character in a cartoon like that as a kid. I can only imagine for my friends who were African American to see, because Susie was nice. She was not a jerk. Angelica was the mean one, and Susie was like the kind older sister, as opposed to Angelica, who's a brat. And I mean, she's going back and watching. She was hilarious, but that was actually one of the points of conflict with the writing team, was that some were like, she's too mean, and some was like, no, that's the whole point. Like, we need to show the consequences, of what happens when you allow your child to be spoiled. But going back to Inspector Gadget, so Nickelodeon, like I said, started in 1979. It was an offshoot of because they started a cable system called Cube in 1977, I
What's
believe.
this about, like Cube? Sorry,
you have 30 minutes to move your cube. So yeah, it started as a cable system, I think, in Columbus, Ohio. I want to shout out, if you guys ever get the chance, watch the Pop Arena. That they literally do an episode for every Nickelodeon series from 1979 to now. They just hit the original Nicktoons. So they did an episode about the first three, and I think they're going to do Doug, Ren and Stimpy, and Rugrats individually. But yeah, and then 1979, Cube had a kids channel called Pinwheel, and Pinwheel was like pretty much a knockoff Sesame Street. And then 1979, they spun off the Pinwheel Kids channel of Cube, and it became Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon had 5 shows in 1979, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, fast forward to 10 years later, 1989, and I was digitizing some home videos that my father recorded. Because, again, another one of the few luxuries we had, because I did not grow up, far from wealthy, relatively modest means. My dad had a camcorder, and it was a video, and it was myself. I was less than a year old, and my oldest brother, Jason. So if he's watching, hi, Jason. And he's 10 years older than I am. And, it's me as a baby, and Jason's like 11 years old, whatever. And I started hearing the background. The TV was on, and I'm like, that sounds like Inspector Gadget. And I listened to it a little more, and it was like the background music. And then I heard Penny, Cree Summer, and Inspector Gadget, Don Adams doing the voice. And then later in the same home video, I hear kids. I think it's like Kids Something Weekend or whatever, like Kids Party Weekend, whatever. And it was a Nickelodeon commercial, and you hear it in the background. And then I go on YouTube and I put like Kids Party Weekend, whatever, Nickelodeon ad, and it came up. And it was right there. It says Kids Party Weekend Nickelodeon advertisement 1989. I was like, holy crap, it's insane, like what you could pull up now on YouTube. But also, like, it made me think, I was like, oh, by the time I was a baby and less than a year old, my parents already had cable, so we already had Nickelodeon by that point. And Nickelodeon was already 10 years old by that point in 89.
See, with me growing up, because there was no cable, it was either free to air or VHS. At the time, I've mentioned this before, but for those who aren't aware, I actually had a few VHSs. There was this crappy public domain stuff, but in terms of visual releases, I had one, Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner,
Wodwana?
Wodwana?
Wodwana.
Wodwana. It's
Isn't
great.
that,
It
isn't
was
that
great
lovely?
stuff.
It was
It was
great stuff.
great
Great
stuff.
stuff.
The thing about that one was it had like the 7, I think, or whatever it was, and I enjoyed it as a kid, but now I could not watch that many Road Runners in a row. It gets old pretty fast. But those I remember to death. Like I remember it. Then I'll see the other ones, and I love them, but I still have that nostalgia for those few that I saw. And those were official releases. And I had 6 volumes of Tom and Jerry, which were uncut. So we did see Mammy Two Shoes. But in one of them, they used the version. It was Saturday words, like as you say, words, Anthony, words. Saturday Night Puss, the one where you see Mammy, she's going out for playing bridge with her friends or whatever in the beginning. But this is the Chuck Jones redrawn one where they had redrawn the Mammy with the Irish woman or whoever she was. I don't know, the white lady, but they still used the audio. They still use the audio from the original. So you had this Mammy's voice coming out of this white character.
Ugh.
It was so bizarre. It was
How bizarre. How bizarre.
How bizarre. Segue, of course, I got this. I'm a big Flintstones fan. Yes, see, I still got to get that. And the problem is, I've been waiting for it to pop up on the Australian Amazon, and yet weirdly enough, it's just been delayed. I don't know why. So I'll get it soon, and I will review it as soon as I get it. It's great stuff.
Great stuff. Now that you mentioned Tom and Jerry, so this is back. Well, I guess. So I originally saw Tom and Jerry on Turner Networks as a kid. So back then, this is when, Ted Turner bought MGM UA in 1986. He had to sell it back. Excuse me. But, he kept the library. So he got control of all the MGM cartoons. He got control of the AAP package, for those of you who don't know, through years of moving around and shuffling and corporate acquisitions and mergers. Turner got control of about 330 Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies pre-1948. And he also got control of all the Fleischer and Famous Studios Popeye cartoons from 1933 to 1957. So, yeah, like growing up, I would put on TNT and TBS. TNT started, I think, in 1988, same year I was born. And TBS, Turner Broadcasting System, was in the early 80s. And they played like sports. They had professional wrestling. And then, they would show like stuff from the Turner package. And I would see Tom and Jerry cartoons. Like I remember seeing Mouse Trouble a lot as a kid, Mouse in Manhattan, things of that nature. And, eventually when Turner was bought by Time Warner in 1996, they started migrating to, they were already on Cartoon Network because Turner used his cartoon library to start it. Hanna-Barbera, Ruby Spears, the AAP package, Hanna-Barbera, all that. But now that you mentioned with the Chuck Jones, like the Irish version of Mammy Two Shoes or Dinah, I think her real name, because I think recently said like her actual name was Dinah. But I do remember vaguely seeing like the redrawn Chuck Jones version of the white lady. And then in one of the cartoons where I think it was Saturday Evening Puss, because I just popped in the Blu-ray a few days ago, and I was skimming through Saturday Evening Puss, but like it was like a teenager. I don't know if it was Saturday Evening Puss or another cartoon.
Yeah, that was,
okay, it was like a
teenage
girl, and it's just like it just seems so weird. And obviously, they did it because in the 60s, because of what's going on with the civil rights movement, and they felt the need to redraw it. And I mean, fortunately, we have it now uncut, obviously with proper disclaimers and whatnot. And I still haven't seen it, but they have like a mini documentary.
It's really good. It actually makes you appreciate. And the funny thing is, when I saw these growing up, and I see the Mammy Two Shoes character, I didn't think much of it. Like I honestly thought it was just this lady who owned a house and she had a cat and mouse. Like everyone automatically assumed, oh yeah, she was like a slave or something. Where it's like, no. I honestly thought, because you don't actually see the people who own the house or anything. If she was just a maid, I thought that was just her house, and she was just doing her cleaning, and maybe her husband's out to working. That's it.
Eh,
That's all I saw it as. I didn't think much of it, and I think most people felt that way. But anyway,
Well, I guess too it's different, like from the Australian perspective as opposed to the United States with our history of racial prejudice and whatnot, and we still have the same problems to this day.
yes,
But now that you mentioned with with Dinah, and it makes me, and you mentioned before about public domain tapes. I had a few. My mom bought me and my brothers, a few public domain tapes of, like I remember seeing like my it's probably still my personal favorite Popeye cartoon, Alibaba and his 40 Thieves. Um, I saw an Itch in Time. I saw Notes to You, Gold Rush Days, which I can't wait
in
to do the.
glorious recolors.
I cannot wait to do the Manny's
Glorious.
Music Time for Gold Rush Days because I have a funny story about how much of a scaredy cat I was. Notes to You
And
is a
still are.
yeah. Notes to You very important in my musical development, like literally. And once you get to that one for the redo, I'm going to talk about that. But as a child, not realizing the significance of it on a public domain tape, I used to watch All This and Rabbits too. And I remember just watching as a kid and seeing the hunter going after Bugs Bunny and dragging his rifle. And there's some jokes in there I really love, like the scene with the bullets chasing Bugs. And every time the hunter and Bugs and the bear emerge from the rabbit hole and they're like wiping the sweat off their brow, you hear the womp, that horn sound when they look at each other. And that same sound, they do it in Wabbit Twubble. That noise kills me every single time I hear
That's your
it.
car horn as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that should be my ringtone. But now, as I got older and I started like I remember when I first got into Looney Tune research in 2001, when I joined the Termite Terrace Trading Post message board and I started buying, Jerry Beck's books and
What's a
whatever.
message board, Manny? What's a
What's a
message board?
well, back in my day. But yeah, like I remember going to the old censored Looney Tunes page that I think Matt Hunter and John Cook and other guys worked on, and I saw like the censored 11. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I clicked on it, and I think all the censored 11 cartoons I didn't know except for that one. I was like, wait a minute, that's that Bugs Bunny cartoon I used to see a lot as it, I mean, I was a teenager in 2001, but I was like, I used to see that when I was younger, and I'm like, that's a banned cartoon. I had no idea that. I was like, ooh, taboo. And then,
You
learning more about
naughty
the
boy.
history. Now, you naughty boy. Learning more about the history and like pretty much that character is it's a caricature of Step and Fetch It. And obviously the baggage of, the films he appeared in. Because I've seen some, not full films, but I've seen clips of Step and Fetch It. And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. So, but
And
like I said, that's a whole.
he got so rich doing that.
Yeah, he was a
Which
millionaire. I think he was the first like black millionaire I think in acting or something like that. But it's like, at what cost? Like where people that they and it kind of reminds me today of like certain people that are, streamers that they do outrageous things, whatever, and they make millions of dollars and they get these endorsements and la di da. But again, at what cost?
maybe I should start changing all my titles to this cartoon woke or something, and just to
Yeah,
drive all
yeah.
the rage in
Just
there.
be a grifter and let the money
I'll
roll
be a
in.
grifter. I will be a grifter from now on. I'm not going to organically grow the channel with sensible content. Funnily enough,
Overrated.
I actually did some research in terms of competition as to who's doing similar things. Because hey, if someone's doing similar things, there's always collab opportunities. And I'm not the be all and end all for Looney Tunes opinion or anything. I'd love to see if there's other channels, out there.
What about all the cease and desist letters you told me about?
Uh,
Mental note: Manny knows too much. No.
Manny knows too much. But no. But apparently, I'm the only person doing this. There is Trevor Thompson. I know he's restarted his channel, more or less. And I like the idea he has. He's doing the commentaries again, but unlike doing like a start to finish commentary thing, he actually hops on camera. It's like chopped up. So, I guess that's one way to make sure that it's like, hey guys, this is fair use. I'm talking about this. I'm not, you cannot
I'm talking here.
I'm talking over here.
One person that I mean, obviously you're the cream of the crop. But somebody that I've seen their work, and I know sometimes in his videos they mention your stuff.
They do?
But the Hit Critic, yeah, that he did a video of like every single Warner Brothers short, but it was like a short, review for each one.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah, I
did
know about
10
that one.
parts, and
Yeah.
then he did like the worst and best and whatever, and he started doing MGM, and like like it's genuine like film criticism. It sounds good. I like his work, and yeah, like I'll look at some of the comments. Is like, oh, that Anthony's Animation Talk did this cartoon, but nothing bad, but it's just like, the as long as you guys are doing like you do full on commentaries and breakdowns, and you drag me along and whatnot, whereas his stuff
Literally
is more
dragging.
yeah, kicking and screaming. But and or even a few days ago when I mentioned when you started doing like the breakdown of the physical media, and then I think Sound Guy, I forgot the name of his channel, Sound Guy 2. Like I discovered him because he did an amazing breakdown on the physical media releases of the original Ninja Turtle series and the 2003 show, because those they've been botching Ninja Turtle releases for years. And yeah, he recently did one about the Blu-rays, the golden, the platinum collections and the collector's vault, collector's choice. It's like, look, we're obviously you are having your niche of of this corner of animation history, and the great work you've been doing. There you go. Thank you, Spiderus Prime. Sound Out 12. That's his channel. I like his work. And but it was weird because I'm like, I knew him from the Ninja Turtle stuff, and then I'm like, I see the thumbnail with like the gold the platinum collection. I'm like, Anthony made another channel about another thing about it, but because I know like some people in certain fandoms, whatever, it's like, no, I only listen to so and so, and I don't want to hear so and so only does whatever Doctor Who, and so does the Marvel universe, and does Sonic, and does. It's like, look, we're for me too. It boils down to that point where like, and I was saying this to I texted my brother, my oldest brother, a few days ago, but it's like it's cool that we're at that point now because you and I are old enough to remember. You couldn't talk about your love of comic books or your love of Looney Tunes or The Simpsons, or like my love of Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles. Like you were mocked, you were ridiculed, and we've with the how popular anime has become and how popular cons have become, and it's like, look, at the end of the day, you love what you love, as long
Exactly.
as it's not being super detrimental to you as a person or to others.
Mm.
That's the way it is. And because I also know too, like I'm a fan of multiple fandoms, obviously the Warner Brothers cartoons and Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters and Simpsons and the Avatar verse. But like I still like maintaining my independence, because I know there's like some people that they're so hardcore into the Ghostbusters world and so hardcore into Looney Tunes world. And it's like, they become defensive and territorial and whatever. I was like, no, no, no. Let me enjoy my stuff. Let me play in the garden or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, like I march to the beat of my own drum. And some people don't have that grasp. They let
And
that
that's what
become
they
their
should
whole.
do. Just
Yeah.
be, march to the beat of your own drum. Like I don't shy away from what I like. I like what I like. If you have a problem with that, well, that's your problem. That's my attitude with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But also with the Looney Tunes reviews, if other people make a channel similar to what I'm doing, go for it. Like, like I would love to see it. If you do
Hmm.
something similar, make a comment saying, "Hey, I've started my own thing reviewing, Looney Tunes." Let me know. I'll check it out. I'm not the only person. Like, my opinion is everything. That's
And
it.
and I know you've been getting on me for a while, and it's just I have the ideas, but making my own content that is both music related, but also like animation related. Because I have ideas and I've written them down, and it's A, procrastination, B, my time, C, ADHD, D, imposter syndrome. But eventually I will get around it because I have some ideas that are strictly animation related, strictly music
Hmm.
related, and just make stuff, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And that's what happened with
Hmm.
your channel.
Well,
You
that's
came
what
up
it
with the
is.
idea and it works.
Just you get out there and do it. Because I still want to do that music thing with you.
Yes.
The music documentary. But back to the topic at hand, because people are probably going to say, when we're going to get back to the fireworks factory. So we had the Tom and Jerry. I had the Tom and Jerry stuff. But I'm going to show you some an image. You might have heard of this, and don't worry, it's a tasteful image.
Oh boy. I like somebody wrote in big letters, Klasky Chupo! You know, Pepito.
It's of you wearing a hat. It's you wearing a top hat.
Oh, God, no.
It's like Manny's got a new hat. So, have you heard of this?
I've never heard that phrase before. No. Of course, I'm kidding. What's up, Doc?
Okay. So, this is where, I was introduced more Looney Tunes through VHS, but I had like a Daffy Duck one as well. I forgot to mention that, and that Roadrunner one. And I watched a lot of the compilation movies. I taped them off TV. Not the first one, though, the Chuck Jones one. It was actually the others I taped, and I kept on watching those. But this is a program from 1993 to 1999. And so 1993, I would have been 8 years old. So perfect timing for it. And they showed this, and they showed cartoons and that. And this is where they showed it was basically just focused on the animation, like the Warner Brothers, you know. There's another image where
that was the Australian compilation of the Warner Brothers library, right?
Yeah. So we had so sort of like this very 90s aesthetic, as you can see there, you know.
Oh my God. She looks a little bit like Jenny McCartney.
Well, it's not her, but there was a few hosts. There was Katrina Roundtree was the main one.
She was pretty, you know.
But there's actually one image I'm going to show you in a moment. You'll be like, wow, they actually show this on TV. I'll show it to you in a moment. But yeah, so you had this sort of this is me growing up with the Looney Tunes, because in Australia as well, for people that don't know, in Queensland, so that's the northern state of Australia, in the Gold Coast, which we already mentioned before, that's where the Avatar crew were at the convention. They have Warner Brothers Movie World, and there's actually next to an actual studio that is a working studio. They actually do run things there, and there is Looney Tunes Land there as well. So they've got Looney Tunes rides, and you can have photos with Bugs Bunny and everything. It's really cool. It really is, and they even show on the big screen in the main town square that they have shorts, random Roadrunners, Bugs Bunnies. They show them all. It's pretty cool. But I'll show you the image where you're like gonna go. Wait, they actually show this on TV?
I just like how weird Taz looks in that picture. Oh, let's see what we got here.
Oh, remember when Batman Returns? Got Catwoman, and you got Sylvester there. Yeah.
Oh, what? Well, young Anthony, impressionable Anthony. He's like, oh, look at Sylvester. And he's like, oh, I told putty tat.
Yeah. Sylvester's like, well, he looks very happy.
And look at you got Pepe Le Pew just like smirking like always, and even Porky's pretty happy over there. Heck, I wish I saw this show when I was a kid. That kind of reminds me of I know The Simpsons, of course. Simpsons made fun of it, but there was, and I was going to say shout out again my friend Luciano, because he's from this country, but like they have like the kids shows in Brazil or whatever, and they have like the host is a really attractive woman, and like
I'll replace the image, by the way, because otherwise people are going to think we're talking about
we're talking about putty tats.
That's right. There you go. See, even the Channel 9 symbol you'll see in the corner there. So
because I was wondering like that, because I noticed like the Peppy had the same poses before. Okay, so they were like cutouts or like wood or whatever, and I don't know. Like she looks. I mean, I said Jenny McCartney from before, but like I don't know. She kind of looks familiar. The Roadrunner looks kind of weird though. It's like the color around his eyes looks a little. What's the host's name again?
Well, there was a few hosts. You got Katrina Roundtree, and like there's basically a whole article about this show, and sure enough, see, I've learned something new. Apparently, it's based off a British version. So apparently, those who are British might have had something similar to this. So, yeah.
Now, I know that I was too young. You know, like when, and again, shout out. Speaking of another great. Well, I said it before, Paparina, but Paparina did do an episode on the history of Looney Tunes on American television. Great episode. Check it out.
Great
But
stuff.
like, great stuff. But I never had the opportunity to like really experience like watching cartoons, like the compilation shows, like I guess like Howdy Doody or like the other local, Bob the Cowboy, and he's gonna show, stuff from the Guild Films library, or Bozo the Clown, and he pulls out a cartoon from the AAP package. Because for me, it was she was pretty. young impressionable Anthony.
Yes.
And but by the time I was a kid, it was really just, we didn't have shows like that where we had like a host, the wraparound segments. It was just, I would occasionally, because I saw, like I said, Looney Tunes mainly on Nickelodeon. They had the intro, they had various clips of the cartoons, and then boom, cartoon. And then for the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show, the opening was because they reanimated the intro of This Is It several times. They redid it in the 80s, I think like 1985, and then they redid it again in the early 90s, where you see like the characters morphing. Like you see Sylvester, then it morphs into Tweety, then it morphs into Roadrunner, and then Bugs and whatever, and then you see Bugs and Tweety doing the actual This Is It performance, and then the procession of the characters. But that's it. We had no wraparound segments. But we did have wraparound. Actually, I take that back, because we, you saw Nickelodeon, but like we had, did you ever see Wienerville?
No.
Okay, so Wienerville, weird name. It was a show on Nickelodeon. It was hosted by Mark Wiener. He was a comedian. And he did it was himself. And he did where he would put his head inside like a little mini puppet against a wall. Like he played, I think Dottie was like a news reporter, or like this woman character. And he did like this character that was like a skeleton of a dinosaur. He was really funny. And in that show, that's where I saw Batfink. And I saw some other they used to show Batfink, and who did Batfink again? Was that Hal Seeger's studio? But it was like other shows like that, like little bits and compilations. But that's like the only thing I can remember from my childhood where it was like cartoons with wraparound segments. They also had Cartoon Explosion, which showed stuff from the I think from the UPA library and the later Paramount stuff. Not like the Popeye stuff, or not the stuff like Novel Tunes. And like I said, this is all Nickelodeon stuff. And I'm blanking on the other ones. But yeah, Wienerville, Cartoon Explosion, and that's about it. I probably somebody will like remind me the other ones too, because Nickelodeon originally started with like a lot of compilation shows, like shows from England, shows from Canada. They brought in some anime and things of that nature. But Kate Fisher or Joe Beth, I don't know who those two ladies are. Koopa's okay. Spiderus, thank you for saying that. So did you ever see the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
I think I saw like maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay. So I saw it here and there when I was little. Captain Lou Albano, a professional wrestler, was Mario. It's the same guy from the Girls Just Want to Have Fun video with Cyndi Lauper. So that was there, and in the movie, the first Mario film from a few years ago, they referenced the theme song of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show when they do the commercial, and I was like, oh man, that's a throwback. But I didn't know until recently that there was a show called Koopa's Crazy Cartoons that I think it only aired in California or something like that, and it was a guy who was dressed up as King Koopa, but like the version from the cartoon. Not he looked like green, and he didn't look like the Bowser that we all know and love. And it's hard to find footage of. And one of the guys, the original guy who played Koopa, was Chris Collins, who was the original voice of Mr. Burns in season 1 of The Simpsons, and he was the original voice of Moe before Hank Azaria took over. But apparently, like, parents hated the show because, Chris Collins was a gruff guy, and like, he was with kids, whatever, but like he said some things that not so much like not inappropriate, like, oh my goodness, you don't say it around the kids, but just like, you're working with kids, dude. Like, you might want to back off in like the way you do it. And then he got replaced with another guy. But I was on a flight a few months ago, and I was on the internet on the flight, and I was looking at clips of Koopa's. They have like maybe 5 minutes of footage they found. For all you lost media aficionados, I don't like using that term. It's inaccessible media. If it doesn't exist, like the tape doesn't exist, the film is destroyed, that's lost media. If you can't get it, if it's sitting in a vault somewhere in a storage facility, that's inaccessible media. Patent pending.
Patent pending. There you go. That's
yeah.
how you book. But tell me, though,
you got to listen to the theme song. It is so surreal.
But the people want to know is, can you do that? Can you do the Mario? The swing.
Can I do swing your arms from side to side? I can't. Okay, that ending with Captain Lou doing do the Mario. There's only one word that I could think of: half-assed. It is the most half-assed dance
I love it, though.
I've ever seen.
I showed it to my kids. I showed it to my kids, and they were like, "What the hell is this?" So I said, this is before, you gotta
get that clip of like when Bart and Lisa are like staring. I think it was in Itchy and Scratchy Land, and Bart and Lisa are just staring up like with their mouths like that. That was literally your kids when they saw you do the Mario.
Or it could be the Mr. Play episode where it's like, "Look, kids, Batman's like, look, kids, Mario. Hey, that's not the real Mario." And he got the original. Goes,
here he is with a Princess Toadstool. Who the hell is Toadstool?
I guess you're only familiar with Chris Pratt movies.
Yeah, Chris Pratt. But you don't remember Danny Wells and Captain Lou Albano as Mario and Luigi, and of course the screen starts rotating.
He goes, "Remember do the Mario? Dude. And then you go, swing your arms."
Oh man,
the fact that we remember that song.
Rest in peace, Adam West. And if only he was still alive, and I would pay him just to be like, "And do you remember doing the Mario? Swing your arms."
Well, Adam West. Adam West doing the Mario. That would be an interesting crossover.
Oh man, that would be great.
That would be
great. Actually, great stuff. Now that you mention that, like, did you? Because I knew about it, but I really didn't watch it. But did you see like the Adam West Batman growing up by any chance?
I have the set. Like I have the complete Blu-ray. I mean, the battery's gone, but it would even have a button on the side where we could say na 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 Batman.
Leader. I mean, Batman.
Yeah, it's for what it is. It's fine. Like it's such a ridiculous show, but I like how some people are sort of just for fun. They're re-editing the episodes to remove the camp and just dialing back the color. Like they're trying to make it like it's a serious show.
Oh god! And replace it with like a Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah, look. For fun, it's fine, but I believe there's going to be a 4K version of the movie, which was between season 1 and 2. And the reason I know this, the Astor Theatre, that's like the theatre has been around since 1936, I think, and it's actually survived to this day. They still show movies. It's really like Art Deco. It's beautiful, beautiful place. The seats are uncomfortable as hell, but still, it looks beautiful. They're showing a 4K of that. So that tells me, I mean, given that this is actually the 60th anniversary, because it came out in 1966, so maybe a 4K is imminent, although it'll be kind of interesting who's going to release it, because Fox distributed it, but Warner's owns the Batman character, so...
No, I was going to say you missed the opportunity to say it was restored in what?
4K.
No, HD.
HD. Well, I got it in HD. We need it in 4K. Yeah, we definitely need that. But no, I enjoy the show for what it is. I mean, Batman is like the Sylvester of the DC DC universe. He's very versatile. You can have him like ultra serious, like blooded, like Arkham Asylum, really dark and just psychological stuff, and then you can have him like a very merry Batman Christmas that came out a few years ago on Amazon Prime. So you got your big and everything in between. So and that's the cool thing. He's such a versatile character.
See, that's like kind of like again with my obsession with Ninja Turtles, but like Ninja Turtles and Batman and Spider-Man, they've reached those points where it's like Yeah, you could have the Batman, you could have Arkham Asylum, you could have the Dark Knight Returns and all those things, and then you could have Lego Batman, and you could have the kids stuff. Just like like sometimes with the Ninja Turtle fandom, they're like, look, obviously, my first exposure was the 1987 cartoon, and then as I got older, I learned about the Mirage comics, and I saw the other shows, the 2003 show, 2012, and like I like that those multiple versions of it. Like I haven't finished watching the series, but I just got the art book of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I kind of brushed off at first, but I've watched some episodes and I'm like, it's actually pretty funny, and some of the fight scenes are gorgeous. Some of the best fight scenes in the entire franchise, like very heavily inspired by anime. And the guys who worked in the show says we killed ourselves doing these fight scenes because that's how much we care. And it shows like the final episodes of the series, phenomenal fights, and then they did the Rise of the TMNT movie, and like the I guess spoilers, but the villain of the film is Krang, and the race of Krang, and several of them. And like I'm looking at these fights, I'm like, God, this is some gorgeous looking animation.
Well, we
But
all know what you really grew up with. I mean,
no,
there's,
no, no,
I
no.
mean, this is the childhood growing up thing. Just to get back to the theme right there. I mean, wow.
Oh God. So I'm actually, and it's taking me forever, but I'm watching all 6 TV shows simultaneously. So I do it in order. I see an episode of 1987, then I do the next mutation, then I do the 2003, 2012 Rise, and then the most recent Tales of the TMNT, which sadly just got canceled. Thanks a lot, Paramount, Skydance. I mean, it's a terrible thing, amongst lots of other terrible things that they're doing. Larry Ellison, David Ellison, and friends.
Well, this
But
poster looks pretty cool, actually. Like you look at this and you go,
oh
this actually.
yeah,
No, like if you look at this and knew nothing else about it, you'd look at it and go, this actually looks kind of interesting. Like and then when you watch the show, you're like,
uh,
yeah,
like I'm get like I the 87 show is not perfect, but it is funny. The 2003 ones I saw the most. 2012 is actually pretty good in some ways. Rise again surprised me a lot, and I haven't finished uh the 2024 Tales, but I enjoy it because it's a spin-off of the Mutant Mayhem film. But once I'm done with Next Mutation, I am not rewatching it. It is, I'm trying not to swear, but it's bleeping painful to get through. But it's funny, now that I mentioned with like, the versatility of the Turtles and Batman, whatever. And this is something I talk about with our buddy Jonathan Graves. Hi, Jonathan, host of the This Means podcast. Is when it comes to Looney Tunes, I don't extend that versatility. Like I'm, for better for worse, I'm a purist. Like I really only care about the theatrical shorts. Like I know our other buddy Matt Hunter. Hi Matt. Like I know he's a big fan, I think, of Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and I know you enjoy it as well. I did
great show.
watch Tasmania here and there, and that's why I learned about Aussie culture. That and Bart versus Australia. I love the theme song of Tasmania. But I saw a few episodes growing up. I had one two, 3 episodes on VHS. And what else? Space Jam. So now they're throwing all this merchandise in stores for Space Jam because it came out 30 years ago this November. I loved Space Jam as a kid. I got the VHS on my 9th birthday. I remember that. And then I became a Looney Tune nerd, and then my opinion changed, and I didn't see Space Jam for many, many years. And when the second film came out in 2021, I rewatched Space Jam for the first time in probably decades. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a good film. And as a Looney Tune nerd, I have a ton of issues with it. But I had moments I felt a little nostalgic. The soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
And there were like when you see the and here's another pet peeve of mine. I hate when people call the characters the Looney Tunes. That's not their names. To me, I always refer to them as Looney Tune characters. Or if you get, me, I'm like, the characters from the original Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies theatrical shorts. But I always say Looney Tune characters. They are not Looney Tunes themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of like me biting my tongue when people say I love this episode when it's actually an animated short. Like I'm sort
Yeah.
of like I'm not gonna go. It's a I'm not gonna. Look, the only time I will ever
Actually, guys, according to like
okay,
I have my moments I get like that, but but it's like also
I'll
like
leave
read
it.
the room. Yeah.
I'll just leave it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna correct. Like, look, the only time I would ever correct people on that these were never episodes. These were short films, hence animated short. Similar to how a Three Stooges short is like a live action short. So they were never episodes, but that's okay. I just leave it. Let people enjoy the thing, and if they want to call it episode, I'll just leave it. It's only if they try and correct me, then I'm like, no, that's when I'll do it. But other than that, I'm like,
that's when you get really serious.
I'm like, no, if someone calls episode, I'm like this. I just twitch. No, of course not. I really don't care. It's just because to be fair, most people alive now would have seen this originally on TV, so they assume it's an episode because it's on TV. So I get it. So it's not like it's not like they're being stupid. It's it's just how it was presented to him. Hence, why it would be called an episode. So
it's crazy to think now that you said that because the Looney Tunes the Looney Tunes theatrical shorts started being syndicated on television in 1955, and then the AAP package was 1956. And I think of it in terms of like who remembers that, or like who remembers seeing them theatrically. In 1955, for most of the year, my father was only 2 years old. And my father's 73 now. And like my dad remembers watching, these cartoons on because my dad grew up in New York and New Jersey, and like seeing them on, I guess, on like the local kids compilation shows of the 60s and 50s and whatever. And it's just like crazy. It's like pretty much the original people who saw these in the theaters. Because I'm trying to remember if I asked my dad, like, did you see any like not just Looney Tunes, but like MGM shorts or whatever, or Walter Lantz in a movie theater. And I said, my dad's in his 70s. Like, you have to talk to somebody who's in their 80s that would remember seeing these in a movie theater.
Yeah, maybe it's a Paddy Freeling one at this point, or something like because they were shown theatrically, or maybe Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah.
At this point in time, so I get it. I'm not going to be that guy. And actually, the only thing I've been correcting people on is the whole thing. And again, I understand why people think this. By the way, is the whole Vincent Price thing on Water Every Hair, because they think it's Vincent Price. Where look, no one knows definitively, okay, but Vincent Price's horror turn came out the following year in '53. And for Alfred Hitchcock. Before that, he was on the radio and he did some, horror-related stuff here and there, whatever. So there is a possibility, but I have to explain to people with the timelines. And one person thought that it actually was Vincent Price himself doing the voice, but she didn't know that there were actually sound-alikes, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 shorts. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I will explain to people stuff like that. But for pedantic things like episodes, nah.
Yeah, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but she was actually really thankful for the info though, so it's not like and I like that. What really annoys me is when people will say an incorrect thing. I'll correct them, but then they'll just double down.
Yeah,
why do that? Just say, "Oh, I didn't know that," or if I made a mistake, counteract with, "Actually, I read this," and then have a friendly debate. But where's the discourse? Where's the consistency?
Non-existent. It doesn't exist anymore, honestly.
No, but look, I'm seeing a lot of really interested fans. Like the Tom and Jerry review video has blown up, at least for the channel, for my level. Right now, I can tell you, it started off just meandering around 200-300 views, or whatever. The usual stuff, just gradually increasing. Now it's on 23,000. So it's getting there. Like
that's how you're able to get the soccer video.
Damn right. So right now, look, I turn 41 in a few weeks, so May 10. So I definitely want to look at doing a live stream on that day. That would be really nice. But by then, in theory, at the rate I'm going, we can hopefully hit 10K subscribers as well.
Yeah, so tell your friends, go subscribe to Anthony's Animation Talk, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, even though I don't have a lot of content yet. Emmanuel Manny Cruz, the Toonie Tenor.
Yes.
You get to hear clips of me singing, and then maybe you can write in the comments of like my singing videos, because remember, I'm a classically trained singer, blah 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 blah. But you could be like, Manny, Toonie Tenor content, nerd stuff, turtles, cartoons, Looney Tunes, but spell Looney Tunes wrong. Toons. Another pet peeve of mine.
Yes,
and
that's right. They must be destroyed. That's my Terminator quote. I'm a huge Terminator fan. But no, you definitely have to. We need you to make We need you to make content, man. We need you to make content.
Know.
You need to just do it, and you're all right. If you stuff up, just learn from it. Move on. Like seriously, I'll look back at some of my videos when I transitioned to reviews from 1947, and man, some of them are pretty rough.
or my early, like, I wish I don't know, maybe, well, I mean, we could talk about it another time, but like when I first started doing like talking about music and like, like the early Merry Melodies, like the 32, 33 ones, before I came up with the whole Manny's Music Time gimmick. And I'm just like, oh, now I'm thinking that meme or the video, brother, like that's what I feel like when I hear it. Or even worse, if you guys listen to the commentary, because the first video that I ever did with you was Buckaroo Bugs, phenomenal cartoon, and that's when I didn't have this. I didn't have like proper recording. I was doing it with my AirPods, and oh my god, the sound quality is atrocious for that. And also, I did Goldilocks and the Jiving Bears, and the sound quality is absolutely terrible. And I'm just like the music, Carl Stalling, like, dude, shut up.
Look, but that's the thing, though. That you got to start somewhere. I mean, look at my earliest audio commentaries for the Boscos. They're still up. So if you want to hear how I started off, those are raw. Very, very raw. But you can't. In fact, a lot of people like that kind of thing. They like seeing the journey from the start to the end, and it's a good way to practice as well.
Yeah.
But it also gives me another opportunity. At some point, I do want to revisit 47, maybe even 46 as well. I think I could do better with some of those too. Especially with 47, I want to look into maybe the collector's choice and collector's vault. Whichever ones have had the upgrade, get those prioritized in an updated review. I'll look back and think, oh yeah, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, but you just move on. And I know it's hard.
I miss that old intro you had when I first found your channel.
Yeah, that the good old free use music. Love it.
Yeah, and it's funny now. Like people, like I think there was one time I was playing it like just on my phone, and your da 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 your current intro, and even my mom was like, "Oh, that's your friend from Australia, Papi." Like she already knows your intro music.
Yes, and shout out to my brother who made that for me. He's a musician, so he did that for me.
Shout out to my brothers who are not musicians.
Yeah. But look, just to wind up the actual topic once again, Australia versus US, who had it better? Not really. It's just different, growing up, and then once I had Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, I got to discover a lot of things. But even then, I was getting into high school, so I was finding myself watching less cartoons than I did, and it was like a little bit of a lull. But then, in the early 2000s, when the Disney Treasures came out, which again, I just happened to be fortunate to be at the right place, right time to be able to buy those, and not at the crazy prices they are now, and the Golden Collection, and that just reignited everything. Because and on top of that, when I was at uni, and long story there, but yeah, I wish I didn't go. But if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have discovered Jerry Beck's book and realizing they made 1,000 of these. I was like, what the hell? I thought it would be maybe 50 tops because, a TV series usually would have 52 episodes. That's usually because they can run once a week, whatever. And here's a good question, actually. Are you planning on getting the Fleischer Greatest Hits Volume 1 Blu-ray at some point? Yes. So, yeah.
Which one is that?
Which one is Thad? Because he worked on it. Sorry, yeah, I had to.
Oh no, wait, not Flight. It's famous, not Fleischer, right?
Yeah, I just
Yeah, that's
realized
why I
that.
did like. Oh yeah, the famous studios.
There is going to be there's two, as I understand it. I think there's the famous one, and then there's going to be a Fleischer one as well. I think
I didn't hear about that one because I know about the famous one just dropped, in our buddy Devin Baxter. He worked on that one, and then they also, this is Cartoon Logic. They also did I always say it wrong. Aesop's Fables. I never heard about that. Was it?
I actually have the Aesop Fables, and I really, I want to actually check those out. But yeah, there's the there's gonna be a Fleischer Studios Greatest Hits and the Champion Collection as well. That's the Famous Studios one. So there's actually two. So one's just come out though, and there's the other one. Will I get them? Yes. Will I review them? Well, people seem to love the Tom and Jerry one, so see, and the problem with reviewing stuff like the Aesop one, as historically, interesting as it is, will people be interested? But I'll do it though. I'll do it because hey, if I'm doing all 1,000 Looney Tunes, I'm doing stuff that people don't care about, like all these Boscos and Buddies. Who cares about that stuff? Obviously, the real hardcore fans. I'll use this live stream also as just to let you guys know the channel will pivot slightly. Okay, pivot. You already know about this.
He's going to his grifter stage. Just wait.
That's right.
Just wait.
It's nothing but extremist rhetoric and and buy these manly drinks, energy drinks, and the usual stuff. And it'll be. Stay tuned, but it'll be like tuned like a car. Also have like a mechanic motif around it, so stay tuned.
I already know your first product. You got to get like this manly drink, just like filled with God knows what, and it's just this manly drink and it makes my hair regrow, and then you have a beard as thick as mine, and then we do the commercial, whatever, and he says I have this long, luxurious hair. And right when the commercial ends, you just see like the wig slipping off. The fake beard comes off your face. Bye now. Slip.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Drink for men.
And me adjusting my hairpiece, my toupee.
Only real men drink this drink. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All I can do on the Aussie one is like, hey mates, what's the good word? Drink this.
Drink this, mate.
Drink this, mate. Oh, but remember the new catchphrase we were going to do? The muy bueno, mate.
Muy bueno, mate.
It's muy bueno, mate. There you go. We'll use that. The pivoting. It's like I like stories. The pivoting is okay. So I've been getting advice on the channel in terms of its direction and whatever, and of course I want more people to see this stuff, but also I don't want to sell out and sell manly energy drinks as well. I don't want to do that. I want to stay the way I am, but also the pivoting is mainly having a focus on documentaries. People seem to love the documentaries and the physical media reviews I do, which I'm glad. Like the Blue Ribbon review, that has nearly 40,000 views. Like that just took off like crazy, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think much. Like I was happy. I was proud of the video. It came out and it did gangbusters, so that's great. The Mickey clone video, not as much, but then I sort of get it because this is Looney Tunes theme, so maybe the algorithm didn't like it as much. I don't know. But the Tom and Jerry one did really, really well. So I've already finished, and I should get back from our mutual buddy Blue Genocide, the DePatty Freeling years, DePatty Freeling 7 art years. That documentary's done, so that should premiere next week. So that will be a good test to see if people are interested in that kind of stuff. And I already done Bob McKimson after Looney Tunes. I've recorded my stuff, and the B-roll I'm just going to send to Blue so he can put that stuff together all the while I'm doing these reviews. The idea is to make the general documentaries the main attraction think of it like a circus, the main attraction, right? But the reviews, they're like the side attractions, and they're more for the hardcore fans. Will I stop them? Nope. I'm still doing them. I'm going to do all 1,000. I said I am. I'm still going to do it. But getting people in who are in a more general way is just good strategy. You know, some people may not even realize that they want to know about this sort of stuff. So start them off with the general stuff. And then if they're interested in the individual reviews, they can look it up and watch it. I mean, what do you think? Like, I'll put you on the spot.
No, I think that's a great idea, because a lot of the stuff that I do watch on YouTube are long form, you know, whether it's about like wrestling or other cartoons I'm into, or politics or history. Like, I enjoy that kind of stuff because I don't really watch YouTube per se. It's more I listen to it, you know, and I hate ads. I always do YouTube Premium. But like when I'm driving, if I'm not listening to music, I'll go on YouTube and I'll be like, oh, this channel did a video on gaming or fitness or whatever. And I know for me, it's like listening to a podcast or like listening to an audiobook in some form. And I know there are people that, you know, or even like the people who that they put it on their TV at home when they're cooking or cleaning, and, you know, they have the visuals and whatever, and, you know, and it's informative, you know. The nerd in me says, go for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And also, you guys might have noticed I've been putting more shorts as well. It used to be that shorts would actually affect you in a negative way. Like, the algorithm just did not know what to do. And YouTube actually listened. I know, shocking, right? They actually listened. Now it does not. Now it doesn't matter. You can have a channel where you can have both, long form or short form, because it'll just promote things in certain ways. The idea of the shorts, there's going to be two kinds. You'll have the text-based commentaries, and that's for like the general fans, right? So these are people, if they watch it, they might enjoy it and not be interested any further. Fair enough. That's fine. They can watch and enjoy that, and that's it. But then they might be like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and then it's like a funnel kind of thing. But I'm also doing review reclips as well to tell people, hey, if you want to know more about this, check out the review. So it is like a marketing strategy, yeah. But for some people, the shorts might just be enough. Okay, I put them on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Facebook, Insta, Threads, and Blue Sky. Not Twitter. I refuse to call it by the other name. I refuse to use that. So I'm only on there, by the way, just to have my name protected, so no one can actually like make a fake account under my name.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm there. I don't post there anymore. You know, it's a real cesspool.
Cesspool.
So I was watching Red Riding Rabbit and wondering which short was first to feature the gag of entering through a random door and reappearing in another door. I feel as though that text did something similar earlier, but the Frizz version, I think that's the first time he's done it. Like, and of course, he repeats that in the Yosemite Sam cartoon when they're on the pirate ship. You know, yeah.
Carl Stalling, you're the best, and Frizz too.
That's pizzicato, isn't it? Is that the style? Like,
well, yeah, the pizzicato is like when you play short and detach. As legato is la 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 la. Doesn't necessarily, because I know some people are like, oh, pizzicato means fast. I was like, no, you could go like in the Hall of the Mountain King is a perfect example. And what the strings are doing. Well, actually, no, sorry, I'm thinking of staccato. Well, staccato is what it sounds like. Pizzicato is the actual technique where the string players they're plucking the strings, as opposed arco where they're using the bow. But yeah, staccato, that's what I meant to say. When you're playing like that, not legato is when you play everything long and connected.
Of course. And I'm up, and also another update as well. Before you slowly wrap this one up, we've got I'm updating Patreon. The prices will remain the same, whatever. I will update at some point, but I'm doing some cool stuff with it. I'm updating every single article, and it'll actually have stat cards of what reviewers said. Everything will look really nice and purdy.
I like that purdy.
I'll announce here as well. I am doing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Riff Tracks and what they do, where basically they record audio commentaries, but you have to own the copy of the film and you just play the audio commentary. I'm currently working on one for Snow White. I actually want to cover all those Disney theatrical features and just go really in depth with it. So you would play my commentary along with it. And that's something I can't really do in one take. So I have to sort of go scene by scene and just record. So, so that's something I want to do. And another animation too. I want, I would love to do Yellow Submarine, one of my favorite animated films of all time. But something tells me putting Beatles music on a YouTube video might not quite work. I don't know. Just a sneaking suspicion, right, Manny?
Yeah. I mean, good thing the Eagles never made an animated film, because if you try to do their music,
Why are they that bad? Like, are they really just?
They're really bad when it comes to stuff like that. Like, and I know, I like. Look, I've always liked the Eagles music. I know some people are like, oh, they suck, or of course the Big Lebowski. I hate the bleeping Eagles, man. But I've always enjoyed their music, but they are really picky when it, like one of my favorite music YouTubers, Rick Beato, like he did a video once, like it's like Howard lay, like, and I agree with this point with because a lot of times it's the big companies, it's Universal Music Group, it's Warner's, that they're so picky about the copyright. Like I've tried to put clips on my Toonie Tenor Instagram account, informative clips of performances or whatever, and they get taken down immediately. And there was one time I did a video, I was like, this is so frustrating. I'm trying to teach, I'm trying to show my appreciation of and my love of certain musical things, but I can't do it because they're so irritating about the copyright.
Has anyone actually taken him to court to say, hey, this is fair use? Has anyone gone that far?
Well, I think Rick Beato did do something like that, where he went. He says, "Look, like I understand, you're trying to maintain your copyright, but it gets to a point as it becomes so restrictive, and you're like thinking, how are later generations going to know about this music if you keep it so like under lock and key? Like, if this behavior continues, you're not going to know about Elvis, you're not going to know about the Beatles, you're not going to know about Jimi Hendrix or whatever, or Led Zeppelin, because of how restrictive it is." Give me 1 second. I think I hear something. Hold on.
You hear something? The Eagles music?
Don't talk bad about me.
Is it the Eagles music? They can't hear me anyway. So yes, we'll plot against him. But so that's the update. And so if you see more shorts, it's to entice more people to say, hey, this is what I do. Come check me out. If dog. And there's like the viewership just rises. Just
there you go. I heard her crying. Special guest, Nina.
There you go, dog.
My dog. Say hi, Nina. I think she heard you say no. I heard her whining. Okay, yes, I love you too.
That'll be the next thumbnail. Just be her licking your lips like that. Just. Guys, next chat, talking about Flash for Famous Studios. I'll probably just next one just do a birthday celebration thing, because next one would be likely around my birthday. If I could squeeze one before then, maybe. But I think, I'm just waiting for my work roster. I mean, as much as I love to do this full time, I can't. I get it though. I'm very niche with the sort of topic. But yeah, when my channel got analyzed by both people and also even there was like an AI scan, because that's the data stuff. So that gives me all the data. That's what AI should be used for, data analysis. And of course, real humans looking at things from obviously the human perspective, and I was getting a clearer picture of things. But South Park had an episode called Nambler. Yeah, that's a great one. And you're wondering why was that Marlon Brando knockoff scientist guy from the Island of Dr. Moreau, that infamous film. By the way, just so everyone knows, that's why he has that little small dude, because he actually had that in that film. It's a terrible film. It has to be seen to be believed. He says, I am part of this group called Nambler, but it's actually, he means the other Nambler, the North American Marlon Brando lookalikes, as opposed to that yeah, say no more. I'm sure we all agree on that front. But yeah, we'll do that, I reckon. But yeah, and if anyone and we can do that one and just have like a nice chill ask me anything. I think we can do an ask me anything for that one for my birthday. What would you say?
Yeah, an AMA would be great. And I was going to say too that in May it's also Nina and her brother Papa's birthday. So we'll do Anthony and Papa and Nina's birthday celebration.
It's Anthony and Dog.
And Anthony and dogs. I think she heard you say dog. She's like, I'm a dog.
I'm a dog, and then
I'm a little doggy.
And I'll bring a cat, and they start just aggressively just fighting over the.
Literally the entire time, it would just be the barking and meowing at each other,
hissing, and all that usual stuff. But yeah, I think that will wrap it up. We've been at it for nearly 2 hours, and it's like we'll do the crusty meme. 342. What was it? Consecutive hours,
and they won't let me stop.
They won't let me stop.
and of course speaking of crusty, I got I'm in the process of reorganizing this room, but of course I got my proton pack, I got my TCRI mutagen canister, and of course the evil Krusty doll.
Yes, I thought you were gonna lift up Nina and say the evil Krusty doll. Wait, that's
yeah, the evil Krusty. Well, she is a crusty looking dog, and she's evil, right, Nina?
What she
don't let those look. Don't let those. Oh, she's not. I think she had one about a few days ago. Yeah, she's pretty. She was over in my. She was with my brother, who has her brother and her parents and her uncle. My brother has 4 dogs.
Jeez. Yeah, probably saying it's time for bed for you as well.
Yeah. She's like, all right. Okay, thank you. I appreciate the kisses.
She's cleaning your glasses. So there you go.
She's like, you need a bath too.
That's right, bath. Get out of those church clothes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll end it right here. Thanks for watching. As always, appreciate the support. As always, and we'll be back. We'll try and see if we can squeeze one other one in before the birthday. If not, you'll be seeing me streaming on my birthday. Okay, guys. Toodaloo. Bye.
Bye. Bark, 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 bark.